Today we are not going to be building our luxury pergola. We are going to be building a pergola that we bought from Costco. We get a lot of questions from our website, from a lot of people that are looking at it, trying to figure out what is the difference between ours and theirs. And so today we're basically gonna talk about that. We're gonna build this. We're gonna see some of the differences, some of our opinions, and general thoughts about it, and try and understand how they can sell this for the cheap price that they do. So we're gonna get started with unboxing it, and then walking through the actual assembly and talking about it as we move forward.
Oh, I gotta get this side too.
Holy shit. The f do they make this out of? That is thin. Hold on to this for a second. Yes, sir. No good. Ooh.
Thin. Look at that. That's our post.
I don't know how they extrude it. I really don't. It's amazing. Louvers? Yikes. So these are just imperfections in the powder coat. So usually after they cut these, you'll have aluminum dust flying everywhere. And typically something like that, the way it feels is some of the shavings have got underneath it. And then when they powdered it, they basically baked the shavings onto the part.
Just my impression. It's very lightweight.
So we're taking a look at each of the parts of theirs. This being the Wave Pergola versus ours. So this is the beam and gutter assembly compared to our beam and gutter assembly. So what they have here, they have their textured powder coat beam that has this shape to it where it kind of slides into their post. And this is their 1-inch gutter. Obviously you can see the thickness of the extrusions from theirs compared to ours. This is our 2x10 beam. So this is our structural frame, that's their structural frame. This is their water intake, which is thinner than our actual beam extrusion in terms of width. It's half the size, and this is our gutter. Okay, so the next thing we're gonna look at is the actual louvers themselves. So here we've got our louver versus their louver. So our louver obviously gets an end cap attached to it. This is the hollow extrusion. This section here is about 3 feet long, and it weighs as much as their 10-foot section here. Obviously you can tell by the difference in padding. One thing that we do is we put a pile weather strip right here to actually seal this down to this when this is setting on top. They don't have any seal, but they do have a rubber stopper that'll basically keep these from chattering when the wind moves them. So kind of nice, but it's not giving you the same kind of seal as something like a positive pile weather strip would. Otherwise, very thin, and if you notice, ours is sitting on the ground perfectly flush. Theirs is bowed, so I actually can rock it like a teeter-totter on the concrete. This pergola is made in China. You can buy it from Wayfair or Costco, I think for like a couple $1,000, something like that. There's another company out of Singapore that also sells the same pergola, but at a much higher, at our price in terms of the actual retail price of the unit. But it's the same thing. For $10,000, I would be pretty angry if I were receiving this, my opinion. Okay, so we're taking a look at their post setup. So obviously you can see their post in the background. From the way this works, and you'll see us when we put it together for the most part, you basically screw off this. This is actual steel plate. I assume it's stainless. You actually screw it off to the bottom of the post. And then once you set everything down, you put a collar actually over the post so that it looks like that. But you have to anchor the actual post down. What they use are these they're basically bent sheet metal in terms of the way the anchor is constructed. So it's basically a bolt with a washer, this sheet metal here, and flange collar. The nice part about it is it just gives you the bolt and the washer on the top, but it's a relatively inexpensive way to hold it down. That's what we will use. So we use a 5/8 wedge anchor. If you look behind me, you can see all these cantilevers that are holding, 100,000 pounds of aluminum. We use the exact same anchors to hold those down that we do for the system. And then instead of this plate and collar system, we use this. It's an 18-inch stainless steel post base that we powder coat, so that when we slip it over, that you get a lot of racking resistance, so that when the post wants to actually move, this is tall so that it resists all of that. And then obviously it's anchored down with this big 3/8 thick plate, which this plate alone costs us about $100 in order to make sure that it stays on the actual slab when we anchor it down. We trim ours off instead of a little collar like that. These are miter cut base extrusions that you can buy. You don't have to, but you can buy them. And they give you the same decorative appeal. Either as a collar, this is just a piece, but when we weld them together, it's a collar that sleeves over, and it gives you just a different look than their collar. Instead of like screwing their beams onto their posts, they basically pinch them on, and then you slide these brass, I guess, like shims, I don't know what else to call them, honestly, because I'm pinching it into the extrusion in the post. Pinch them on, you tighten them and pinch them on. From a load standpoint, if you had a screw tied on, you're gonna have to basically snap the screw in order to pull the beam off of the post. But from this standpoint, since it's pinching, you just have to overcome the friction of sliding it out. Honestly, the pictures look way better than I thought. Like the pictures of this thing online actually look okay, but in person it's uninspiring.
Yeah. Put one of these in your home gym for a squat rack. A little pull-up bar.
Yeah. Squat the whole thing.
Yeah. Put your brace in the middle. Shoulder it.
Look at that. You know, my best part, my favorite part?
The gap?
Yeah.
Water.
Beautiful.
Oh, you
can't even see it, can you?
Oh, I can see it.
It's stuck on the lip on the ink cap.
Oh, is it? Yeah, it says anything over 10-pound ground snow load, remove the louvers.
See how tedious that is?
And yes, and anytime over, well, some people buy 2 of these, like a double bay with 6 posts.
Then you got to try to keep track of these little screws
Yes.
for the winter season.
And then anytime it's over 62-mile-an-hour winds. So I'm
You think
assuming
I want to listen to this and anything under 60-mile-an-hour winds? You're crazy.
Yeah, hey, I don't make their rules. Each of these all has an arc. They all have a crown built into them. They're tilted up. Yeah, see that? So you can get it to focus back there. Right here. You see that crown? Here, 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 and here. I was driving this one on this louver over here on the left, and clearly this stainless steel is quite soft because the button head came off. So the screw itself sheared off. Again. I like the sound this makes because it's so hollow. So tinny. Whole thing's whoa. Y'all gonna have some good ad-libs on this boy. Can you see what's going on up there? Oh yeah, partially open.
Yeah, great spacing on the end.
Yeah, it does. It closes all the way up.
Look at the bow and the louver. You got light gaps on each side.
Go any further?
That's it.
That's it? It's barely past 90. Tilt it all the way back the other way. Does it give you any more room? Was I supposed to screw that on? Was I supposed to screw that on in a different position?
There's a little stop where it only stops at this degree.
Okay,
And if you try to give it more,
fair enough. That's it.
Yep, that's value engineering, isn't it? Wow. It's, well, it's a system, I guess. And I guess they know exactly what it's worth. I just don't know how they can make the extrusions that thin. That's really, that's impressive. Yeah, but I mean the extrusion thickness is only slightly more than coil stock. It's really, really thin. It's just impressive they can make it that
it's like 16.
yeah, it's about a 16 gauge, about a millimeter thick. So compare that to our louver, which is basically 3 times as thick. You can see why we can withstand the snow load. Now, are they claiming any snow load resistance for this?
10 pounds per square foot.
10 pounds per square foot, that's nothing. 10 pounds per square foot is an average wind load. That's all that is. Okay, so it can't hold a snow load. You gotta remove the louvers in the storm.
Yeah.
Oh, and you have to take the louvers out in the storm?
Yeah.
Okay.
And high winds plus snow.
Yeah. Everybody's gonna do that, aren't they?
No.
Wow.
Did you see the 1-inch gutter?
I did, I saw that earlier, yeah.
There you go. Feel like this part. Look at the consistency.
Wow.
Now look to your right, top.
Yeah. My goodness. Well, I guess we know why they sell it for, what's the number?
I don't know.
$2,500? Yeah.
They're making a killing on it, 2,500.
But if you didn't know any better, you'd think you got a good deal. It's only when you can compare it to something else. I would feel pretty bad if I paid $7,000 for this. I don't feel great having paid $2,500 for it.
I know, it's a car.
But it's a learning experience.
So this has been our build of the Mirador Pergola that we bought through Costco. It can be bought multiple different other places. Obviously, our pergola we showed you as we walked through different parts and pieces, theluxurypergola.com. You can see a little bit more on our website that differentiates ours from theirs. Other than that, we will see you guys in the next one where we talk more about either pergolas in the industry or some of the advantages or disadvantages of different outdoor products. See you in the next one. Take care. This reminds me of like Amazon bed frames. You know, like the Allen wrench and everything.
Yep, everything goes together with an Allen wrench.
And everything's Allen wrench, just pinch fit, maybe slotted, maybe